really want to? Do you really want to taste it? That song is stuck in my head. I actually have it on my phone. Just let me.
Do you really want to? Do you really want to taste it?
Okay, that's enough for the copyright. Don't come after us.
I just played this. Please don't. Oh my God. Will
No.
we?
It wasn't that much.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Bodacious Rant. Oh man, and I'm sorry. The last couple weeks I've been waiting to want to talk about this show, and oh man, DC's got another hit on their hands. We're talking about Peacemaker on HBO Max for the new DC series. First off, for those who maybe don't, if you never saw Suicide Squad, this is about John Cena's character Peacemaker, who's basically a supervillain recruited for the Suicide Squad, end up turning on the group in Corto Maltese, but he was put in the hospital, and now this is taking place right after the movie. So
yeah, it's
you don't have to watch the movie to see this show. It kind of pretty much spells it out. So if you don't want to watch it, which you should.
I mean, it's on HBO
James
Max
Gunn's
now. I don't see why people wouldn't watch it.
James Gunn's a fucking genius. Yes, please watch it.
Yeah.
Dude, already like what Invincible was last year for us. This is it so far.
Oh, that's such a good comparison.
I'm digging this show. Just it's very much like The Boys. If any of you guys have seen The Boys or anything like that, very similar to it, just not as graphically violent, I would say. Just because it kind of
gets there.
At least one
a
episode.
little bit.
Yeah. But so far they dropped 3 episodes. Last week now. This is the 4th episode that just came out. This is about halfway through the series.
Yeah,
right?
we only got 4 more to go after this.
Cool. I'm gonna give just an overall rating of this mid-season. Right now, it's a 5 out of 5 for me, because I love Suicide Squad. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
And but I'm really not liking what Warner Brothers is doing with DC, like the direction they're going, like how we have rumors and reports of how the Flash is going to completely erase everything Snyder before, given that if anyone's read Flashpoint before, Flash kind of has to change he basically changes the whole world because of the time travel. So it's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes there, but I guess we'll find out with that one.
A lot of crap is going on, and I love the Snyder movies and the dark version of what they're doing, but with Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, I'm trying to think. I guess Aquaman too, I would consider. Like, it's Snyder-ish, but not necessarily. Basically, they're trying to go for a more universe that's not so dark. Still serious, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of serious shit they're talking about in these movies and doing, but it's definitely more lighthearted. It's a lot like Marvel, but like if Marvel was more adult.
Yeah, a little bit more of an edge to it.
Yeah, so like a dark comedy version. But so far, this show's working for me. Every level, the acting, the costume design, the music choice, everything is just. It's so funny to talk about because it's just I never saw this coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know, like, what was your level of excitement coming into it? Were you hyped at all when they had announced? Because I remember they announced there was going to be a Peacemaker show before the Suicide Squad came out. So I was like, okay, that seems like an interesting thing to do, and I guess it's something that they're trying to do going forward with the new movie releases going forward. They're gonna have, I guess, like a tie-in show to go along with it. Like, we know that after the Batman comes out, there's going to be a GCPD show, based in that universe. So that seems pretty cool that they're like, you said, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes of what, but it seems like they're really trying to put out some content, both in theaters and on the small screen too. Like, I know we got Batgirl and Blue Beetle coming out, and I know we got some shows in the works too, alongside, Titans and the Doom Patrol stuff. But yeah, like, coming in, I was like, all right, like, I mean, at that point we hadn't seen the character, and then after the movie came out, I was like, this seems like a weird character to choose, right? Like, out of all the people, all the really good characters, I mean, don't get me wrong, John Cena's Peacemaker was one of the highlights, but out of all of them that you could have picked, why Peacemaker, especially after what he does in the movie? And I gotta say, like, it's a credit to James Gunn and his, like, master storytelling that he just makes it work, man. And, like, everyone in the cast here just gives it all 110%. You know, like the writing here is absolutely fantastic. You know, we're 4 episodes in on this show, and then we're also 4 episodes in on, you know, a Book of Boba Fett, and this one is just like a master. This one like is a masterclass in storytelling, where it's like every episode feels like it progresses the story and you know, fleshes out the characters, and you know, it is like an ensemble cast, so it's a lot of characters to juggle. But that's what's so great about the format of TV, is that you can spend the time and do that. You know, with good writing, that is. So yeah, I mean, you see his hand here from beginning to end. It's like, you know, if you saw the Suicide Squad, you know what James Gunn is all about, and you know, for me personally, that's something I really dig.
Yeah, I mean, you said it better, Bernie. Just perfection, perfection. Um, but like I said, I couldn't agree with you more. The cast, I like the cast too, because it's kind of filled with a good amount of unknowns to me, and that's what makes me like it a little bit more, just to see what these actors can really do. Just especially John Cena.
Yeah.
I really love the fact that besides The Rock, like him and Dave Bautista are really carving their own spaces within cinema, because you know, they're just showing like, hey man, we're not just, you know, ex wrestlers. We're like really putting our effort into this, and this show really exemplifies not only his comedic talents, but he has his really dark moments too. It's like even when they're funny, they're still well acted. So
Yeah.
you know, that's, and I'm respecting the hell out of it. But keep going, bro.
Yeah, no, just to jump onto that fact, I thought John Cena in the Suicide Squad was, you know, the best acting he had ever done. I think that was him like at his peak, and I thought that was like about as far as he could go in terms of, you know, him being an actor. But like you said, in these 4 episodes that we got, we really get to see a lot more to him, and his character has a lot more dramatic moments that we get to see, and John Cena plays those well. You know, he does really play kind of like a scumbag of a character, but he's just so lovable. Like just the person himself, you can't help but really like him, you know. And when we see like his character go through the certain like ups and downs that he does in the show, you feel every moment, and it wouldn't work if, you know, the actor wasn't good, and John Cena is really good here. Like we said before, James Gunn's he seems to have a way with really working with actors and playing to their strengths. You know, like you know, he did the same with another wrestler, you know, Bautista, and as Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and we got to see it in the Suicide Squad, and then now here in the show Peacemaker. So yeah, a huge credit to John Cena. I didn't think he had it in him to sort of lead a show, especially it's a lot of time to spend, you know, on one character and then rest a lot on their acting shoulders. But I mean, John Cena has some huge shoulders, so I think he was able to handle this pretty well so far, at least.
Yeah. Before we get into spoilers, jumping back to your original question, was I looking forward to the show? Still no, because I did like Peacemaker, especially alongside like Bloodsport and stuff in the movie. But again, I was like, why are we making this random ass show? Like, why does this have to be a thing? Like, I love you, James, but what's the freaking point? And this show, just again, such a great character study. But either way, we could talk about this. We could talk about how much we love it all night. Let's get into spoilers. What do you say? Like, at least our favorite stuff about this show.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm ready to dive in.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you haven't seen it, like I said, they're actually a pretty quick binge too. They're only like maybe 40, 50 minutes each. So, yeah, check them out.
And it
They're
doesn't
all
feel
on
like
HBO
it at
Max
all.
so far. No, it actually, like, this last one burned through way too quickly. I was like, oh man, that's it already.
Yeah, I think it's over. Damn.
So yeah, check it all out on HBO Max, and then come on back and, you know, dive into what we really like about this. So, what do you say, Bernard? Shall we get started?
Yes. Peace out, motherfuckers. And now we're, you know, come back in for the spoilers.
I mean, since we're kind of starting off in the beginning of this a little bit, like I said, I'm just gonna talk about my favorite parts and like what moments have caught me the most in this. To the intro, like
Yes, I mean, yes.
James Gunn has so much music I've never heard. Given again, he's a little bit older. He's been through a lot more, and you know, been through quite the age of music. But the "Do You Really Want to Taste It" song by Wigwam is like, and the dance sequence. I can't help. I don't skip it. I know people are saying there's articles like don't skip it, and I'm like, no, trust me, I'm watching it every freaking time.
Yeah.
It is so much fun to. I even watch it on my phone. I mean, that's a little much, but I'm like, it's such a fun thing to see, and the song is so catchy. Like it's like maybe to some people I know they're like thinking, why is this having anything to do with Peacemaker? Like you think with John Cena you expect like a heavy metal thing or like extreme classic rock or something. It's like no, it's straight up like 80s pop essentially.
Yeah, like that
80s
glam rock. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Dennis and Charlie
Yeah,
with his suit. Let's join forces. Hello, come right in.
I'm gonna wear spandex.
Oh god, but every episode I see, just I sit through the intro because it's so fun to watch. All their straight faces doing all these moves and shit.
Yeah,
like it's so fun.
And it's like it's everybody in the cast too. Like no one gets left out. You even got like the weird neighbor for his dad, who's just there trimming his shrubs, and he's just there throwing it down in the back. I will say I really love this intro, and I think it serves as a good litmus test. Like if you can handle the intro and you find that funny, you're gonna love the show.
I was thinking when I was watching, like there are very few shows that have like fantastic intros that you want to watch or listen, like you don't mind sitting through. Like for me, 30 Rock is one of those intros I always kind of enjoy watching before the show starts, and this like that's just the most recent one that comes to mind. But this one, like, or Sons of Anarchy and Justified, those are some other ones, but this one again it just gets me so excited every time I hear it and just see John Cena's just
everybody's straight face, like you can't help but laugh.
You can't help but laugh or smile. Like it's so cool to see. I can't speak enough to it. And then the first episode with just the aftermath of Suicide Squad. Yeah, like really kind of seeing where he came from when he goes back to his like shit trailer. That has it's all Americaned out in there. It's like, oh God, you really are like that. And we see when we finally meet his dad. Kind of, I was thinking of Suicide Squad. I actually rewatched it after I watched the first three, or kind of in between the three, just to kind of get myself back into the mood of it. And it's just that it just brought me back to that first part of, Christopher Smith, trained by his father to kill at the early age of 14 or something, and he's been trained in everything to kill everything. It's like, are you having a laugh? Like you just said we're all chosen for our unique abilities. It's the exact same thing I do. I do it better.
Yeah. That's a nice like payoff to that was established in Suicide Squad. And the other payoff too was that like moment when they're in the bus and Bloodsport's giving his backstory about his dad like used to torture him with rats, and we see like John Cena's Peacemaker make like a little look like I know how that feels like, so again, like you said, Robert Patrick as his dad, being brought in and showing like why Peacemaker is the way he is. It's just right off the bat you get to you get a clear idea of what their relationship is like, and it's awful. It's so bad.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. It's such a great character study because Peacemaker's a villain, but this show is definitely leaning in the more of like he'll grow into an anti-hero where he's gonna be still doing bad shit, especially behind the scenes of DC, but like of the public eye. But he does have heart, and as much as he tries to relate to his dad by making fun of Bloodsport and his rat phobia, and his dad's laughing at it like, oh, I hope that pussy wasn't the one who shot you. And it was just like, no, it's fine. It's like, man, like if he shot your son, that's pretty impressive because your son is a fucking mountain of a man, dude, just axing people, shooting them left and right, and it still isn't enough. And I think that's what a lot of like guys can relate to. Sometimes you're never being depends on your parents and stuff, but sometimes he never feels good enough for your dad. But given, I hope not everyone's dad's a white supremacist piece of shit like Robert Patrick. But at the same time, I love his acting. He's a great actor because I love to hate him in this show.
Yeah, it was so funny because I was seeing a lot of memes going around like, man, Robert Patrick's so good at this in the show. Maybe a little too good. Like,
oh, I hope not. I hope that's not true in real life.
I mean, I don't think that's the case at all. But yeah, like you said, he's so good in the show, and it's like you're kind of like put into Peacemaker's shoes. Like whenever he's around him, like you feel like how every time he like belittles him or throws out these really horrible slurs, like you're just like, man, like this guy's such a mean person. And you see. Like the relationship is so fleshed out in like the very first few scenes that they're in, where you see how, this guy's like a monster, and like what he did to Peacemaker as a kid, like, or what we think he did to him as a kid, like how he brought him up as a trained killer. It's like he did a number on Chris. And yeah, you see like why he is the way he is. Like you can tell like he does have a good heart, but because he loves his dad so much and he wants to impress him, he does a lot of these bad things and maybe says a lot of these bad things. And it's kind of one of those things where where they say about like kids, right, where they're not naturally like evil. They don't think about like all these different things. They just repeat what their parents say, and you kind of get that idea here. And just the fact that comes across, when the acting and the scenes that they're in. Again, just such a credit to James Gunn and then the actors involved, because like if I'm able to get that from just one scene at like a little dinner table, it's like, man, like that's a lot of legwork done in just a few minutes.
And not to just praise John Cena and Robert Patrick, all the acting all around is
Yeah,
superb. Like James, Jennifer Holland, who's Amelia Harcourt. She was just a random character in Suicide Squad. One of like Amanda Waller's like not. How would I put this? I guess one of her operatives in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the
In the
control room,
command center, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Steve
Agee, yeah.
Steve Agee, yeah. How he was one of them too. As now he's John Economist.
Economist.
And like they're both have their great moments too. Like Steve as John Economist, he's just the comedic relief of the group. Just that ultimate CIA guy is like, I don't give a shit. I'm just here to do my job.
Yeah, he's
like,
the techie.
let me live kind of guy. Yeah, the super techie guy, and she is just she knows she's saddled with a shit assignment. Like she does, like none of them like Peacemaker because of what he did in Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. And like in the first episode when she's just trying to just chill out, go out for a beer, he follows her, and and these dudes are hitting on her. I thought that was such a great scene when these dudes are hitting on her at a bar, and she totally fucks one up after like just totally insulting him. Like, dude, fuck off. I'm enjoying my beer.
Yeah.
And she's like, now I have to deal with those assholes. Now I have to deal with you trying to stalk me. He's like, I've been in prison for a while. I just want to get some kind of like not trying to be rude about it, but he just is, again, he's a bit of a social retard. And yeah, like I kind of felt that where she's just like, I just want to be left alone. Like, can you understand that? He's like, sorry. But and then he ends up getting his rocks off minutes later with some random chick at the bar. Just freedom. Like, oh my god, it's like, oh, you're such a savage, man. He's just massive, dude. I'm ashamed. Like, I feel ashamed watching him, and I'm just like, damn it, I need to get Bowflex. I need to commit. Get some dumbbells.
What does the janitor guy at the hospital say? Like, you can't be a superhero. You're too bulky. Like superheroes have more like a gymnast build. Like they're ready to go.
Oh my god, yeah. I forgot the actor's name. Let me look it up. But he was I think. Oh my god, what's his name? Yeah, Rizwan Manji, but he was a Jamil.
Yeah.
He's just, don't trust me, man. What? I thought, but we spoke together. Yeah, that was nice, but I'm not a trustworthy guy. Okay, can I tell you a secret? Yes, of course, you can tell me anything. That literally contradicts
everything you said. And while we're on the actors, I really like the three new additions to the cast. The two I'll talk about right now is Danielle Brooks as Leota Adebayo.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's really good. I really liked her as Tasty in Orange is the New Black, and she's so great here. And that twist too that we find out that she's Amanda Waller's daughter. It's like
that was like oh, that explains why you're here.
Yeah, it's like oh shit. So I really like her. Like she has this great like innocent quality to her. Like that moment when she's meeting the team and she's kind of rambling on like like how James writes these characters. You're like immediately endeared to them like within minutes. And that whole moment with her just kind of like having a little like unprepared speech that she's like happy to be on the team or whatever. That was just so good. And like her interactions with Peacemaker, you get to see more of like the human side of him whenever they have conversations. So I really liked her in the shows. Like she's so good, like such a great addition that I would not have expected at all. Amanda Waller having a kid, like what?
That was the biggest curveball for me. I was like, she had a kid? But her and Peacemaker are very similar. They just don't realize it quite yet, mm-hmm. just because. I'll talk about episode 4 in a little bit, mm-hmm. but overall, the first one was fantastic, just because, like you said, it's a litmus test. Like not only the intro, but the whole episode itself set the tone for the show, being super funny, has his dark moments, just because he's dwelling on what his Rick Flag's last words to him were, "Peacemaker, what a joke." Like after he just kills him, and we're kind of seeing like, okay, maybe he does feel bad about it. And then the ending was explosive too, literally because
explosive.
How this chick that he hooked up with minutes before ends up being a metahuman trying to kill him, and you find out he has multiple helmets that his dad just makes this shit for him in a really cool quantum storage closet.
Yeah.
And it has a sonic boom, so when you see her just splatter, I was like, oh man, that's nasty, but that's crazy. Eagly, we haven't talked about Eagly yet.
No, we didn't. Yeah, Eagly was great, and Chukwudi Iwuji as Clemson Mern, like the leader of that Black Ops team. I like how he's the straight man, and everyone around him is just a bunch of dipshits. He's just kind of the guy that's trying to keep it together as he's given this ragtag group, like the rejects of the Suicide Squad.
Pretty much, he's basically just dealing with all the people that like Amanda Waller's kind of just. You guys are putting aside, you deal with this problem. Yeah. Just basically I have certain groups for certain shit. Now they saddle with him. And yeah, he's just trying to like hold it together with these guys because they're all so dumb in their own way. And like, it's hilarious. But the first, second, and fourth one are my favorite. Second one was just because, again, the comedy continues with Peacemaker. Everyone he interacts with, again, for such a douchebag, he relates to people so well. Like when he enters in that apartment because he's trying to get away after he just killed this woman, and there's a couple he holds hostage. He's complimenting the wife, and they're just start arguing like about whatever's going on, like their music taste. And then she's like, "You know what? Maybe I will fuck this guy." I was like, and his face just, "Oh, okay."
Like really, right now?
This is not what I expected. And then also too, I love that they brought in one of my favorite actors growing up. He was in Night at the Roxbury and Freddy vs. Jason, the scary movie. Let me see what's his
Lachlan
name. He's a
Monroe.
Canadian actor. Lachlan Monroe. Yes, it took me a second, but once I saw him in the second intro, I was like, oh shit, that's him. He's still the same.
Yeah.
He's still just a little bit older, but he still looks great. Like, damn, dude, that's hilarious. They got you in this show too.
Yeah, him and Annie Chang as the two cops that are like chasing, Peacemaker through this little like apartment complex. They're really good. I hope we get to see more of them. We don't get to see them much outside of episode 2. But yeah, I hope we get to see more of them, going forward, because they seem like they had a lot of history, together. Like it's like we felt like we're just like kind of jumping in like in the middle of their like relationship and stuff, and how they like trying to take down, like how they talk about like having to deal with like metas, metahumans are like people going around and being costume vigilantes. It's like, okay, they've kind of dealt with this type of shit before.
Exactly, but other than that, the second episode again just set the tone where we meet the first one we saw Freddie Stroma, or is it Eddie Stroma or Freddie Stroma?
Yeah, Freddie Stroma.
Freddie Stroma, which if any of you guys have seen this and you like me, you kind of remember random actors. He was McLaggen from Harry Potter 6, the Half-Blood Prince, the creepy dude he's hitting on Hermione hard. Because I was thinking like, holy shit, is that the same guy? I was like, it is! Like, that's crazy. They got him too. Like, because I haven't seen him in too much else. He's an English actor, I believe, but he's just hilarious as Vigilante, which Vigilante, I remember just watching the Justice League shows, like Justice League Unlimited, and he had the classic cowboy outfit from like the 40s or whenever he was introduced. So that's the look I always grew up with, and I see Vigilante that way. This one's definitely a more modern, up-to-date take on Vigilante. Like everybody goes for the an Arrow, and I forgot what else, but he always has like the goggle with the tactical suit look. So
yeah. And like the how much we get to see of him in episode 3, it was almost like his episode. It's very much an introduction to him, and he's so great, man. Like Freddie Stroma does such a good job of because of the costume design that they did decide to go with, where it's just head to toe covered in black. All we have is that little red visor where you can't really even see his eyes.
and then V Stripe for Vigilante.
Yeah,
he's basically DC's Deadpool.
Yeah,
right now.
Like if Deadpool and I don't know, like it's just like a screwed up version of
I guess Punisher.
Yeah, Deadpool. Punisher. I don't know, but just the way like he does a lot of the physical acting, while he's in costume, because we can't see his face, when he's all covered up like that. Just the way he moves around is just like, again, it's very much like how Ryan Reynolds did it with. I mean, that's a little bit of a cheat because he did have the CGI eyes. But here it's just, pure body acting, and I thought Freddie Stroma just nailed it from the get.
Yeah, and a bit of voice acting too, because it may not be him in the suit the whole time too. So it's all just, you really have to go with the voice. And yeah, he's just such a squirrely character. Like them going to the shooting, like just shooting stuff in the woods to just have fun was great.
Throwing dynamite at each other. That's so good.
But what I loved about this one too is that, again, we are seeing more of Peacemaker's like sensitive side. When he goes back to his trailer, puts on like the record that he took from the metahuman that he just murdered, took from her apartment, and he keeps harkening back to Rick Flag, and he knows he feels bad, and he's like, people hate me, like I know I'm a scumbag, and it's like, okay, well, Chris, you can change that, you don't have to be that guy. And again, it just makes me appreciate the acting overall so much more, because it's like, dude, I feel that with you too. Like I feel that regret when every time he has his little, not tantrum, but he just cries so ugly in the first part.
Yeah, like a little kid.
Yeah, because he's a giant man child. Like he just never had a proper childhood because of his dad. Thanks a lot. Yeah. But I love how John Economist because of the whole like the car being there.
Yeah,
and all
the fingerprints. And
stuff. In a pinch, they put it all under his dad's info, and Mern's like, why would you do that? Like, you could pick anyone else. It's like, well, it made the most sense. Not right now, you idiots. It's like, oh man, what do you want me to do? It's like a quick second. I did some impressive shit here. It's like, oh, you're idiots. All of you are idiots. Yeah, you don't get it.
It's crazy how that also leads to that scene in the when he gets to prison and like all those other white supremacists start, like hailing him, and the white dragon. I was like, oh shit! Like this got like a whole nother level of messed up.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's like, no wonder. Again, that's what I love about this show. Every episode that comes out, you just keep thinking, no wonder you're like this, Peacemaker. Like, you could be a totally different person if you wanted to be, but this is what you got.
Yeah, everything just makes so much sense.
And episode 3 wasn't bad. It was still pretty cool. It had some great action scenes, especially with the Judo Master.
Yeah, I love Judo Master.
Totally kicking everybody's ass. But it was interesting too, was another part of Peacemaker, how his iconic line from Suicide Squad is like, I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill to get it. It's like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. And we saw him do fucked up shit in that movie too, like just hacking people, shooting people, no problem. And in this one, when we see that they're after these people called the Butterflies, we don't know what the hell they are, but when that senator family just went to the table and they're all eating with like some weird
that like tongue thing,
like I don't know what I would call that, like almost like an anteater thing or something, but they're like sucking soup or something out of like this tongue, and he just can't do it. He doesn't care. He's like, and Vigilante's like, I got this.
Yeah, he kills like the mom and the 2 kids. It's like, damn, like it gets a little bit dark in episode 3. You're just like, holy shit, like you forget, like this is like a black op team. They're doing some really fucked up shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was still a solid episode. It was like me compared to the first 2, and then this last one, it's like, these are better.
Oh yeah, I mean, I really liked episode 3 because of that. Bringing in that moral dilemma that the first 2 we didn't get as much of. It's a little bit more lighthearted and stuff, but here we get to learn like what the stakes are. This is the kind of shit that we have to do because those the butterfly reveal at the end where it crawls out of that dude's blown out face. It's just like, okay, like, I think by the end of episode 3, we get an idea of like what's at stake. And I think it sets, that up as sort of like an act 1 end, to where it's like, okay, now we get to know like what's the threat and what like what actual like Project Butterfly means, like they make mention
Literally, almost like a butterfly.
It's like Project Starfish, it's gonna be like what did he say in episode 1? Like, am I gonna find a Mothra? Can I get a jetpack to fight this Mothra? I wouldn't be surprised.
It's not Mothra.
I would not be surprised if that happens at the end of the show. Like, just throwing that out there.
I love how he's just saying, you guys are really bad with names. Like Project Starfish, literally Starfish.
Project Butterfly, the Mothra.
And then again, Vigilante, he just adds that much needed, not much needed. He adds extra humor to what John Cena already has, and
he's the wild card. Just wild card, bitches.
Their chemistry is so great, and the fourth one, again, this is the one that dropped. My favorite one so far is just because, the team is kind of forming together. They're kind of like starting to feel their dynamic a little bit.
Everything kind of slows down a bit in terms of story.
It's slowing down. Yeah, like how Adebayo, she couldn't kill this henchman or something in the last episode, just because it's like, and people keep making that remark, like, I'm not Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller's a monster. And she does such a great job of portraying, like, I don't know if I like you talking about my mom, but it's also, it's like that, and then she's thinking, do I not know my mom? Like, what the? So, again, that's what I'm saying. She's going to be, I think she'll find out she's very much like Peacemaker in that instance. And we kind of hear that a little bit, that confession, when, he's trying to go see his dad because he finds out he's in prison. And she says, listen, we all yearn for the fact that our parents are flawed and we still love them anyways, but your dad's not like that.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, your mom isn't so great either. Like, she does have a bit more of like a patriotic side to her, and for the greater good, sort of.
Yeah.
Extra quotes. But she's still a monster. She almost killed the entire Suicide Squad because they tried to do the right thing.
Yeah, like her moral compass is, she's willing to do whatever it takes to get the mission done, and and that's like what how she justifies her thing. In Peacemaker's dad is he's just a racist, sexist, homophobe, like all the is, like he's just all those things, and quite literally like it seems like a white supremacist super villain, but we see that costume of his, in that cellar.
I hate to say it, and it's really hard to say. Not really. I feel bad saying it, but his suit was actually pretty cool. The white dragon suit in the quantum storage unit, just because.
Oh, it's a good suit for a supervillain, for sure.
The mask looks cool, the armor and everything, and it's like, damn it, I hate you so much, but you do have a cool suit. But I love how Vigilante automatically comes in, is like regular clothes, just saying, man, that suit's not good. All that cloth, the separation of the armor, like,
yeah,
he's basically calling it pointless.
He immediately points out like all the weaknesses to it, which I'm sure is gonna pay off at some point, towards the end of the season. But yeah, like how you made mention of Peacemaker being sort of like his dad, and Adebayo being like her mom. We get to see that when he goes into the prison and talks to his dad, how she sort of manipulates Vigilante into getting the idea of killing Peacemaker's dad. It's like, that's very Amanda Waller of you.
Yeah, just because her and Amelia had that heart to heart where she's like, you gotta be able to make the tough calls, because if you don't, people suffer. Because she did make a good point, like when they had the guy at gunpoint, it's like, you either make the last minute of his life the worst and torture him, or you just
end it quickly. Yeah,
just end it quick. So this one I really love because it explored just everybody, their whole situation. Like, they're a team, but they're still individuals, and they're all going through their own shit. Like when Peacemaker goes to see his dad in prison, trying to make him feel better. His dad's just such an asshole, saying, "No, I'm gonna snitch on you the second I get. Like, you're an idiot, you're a failure." And he's just like, "I just want to go home. Like, let me just go home." And Vigilante, before we get to that, no, actually, do it. Never mind. I can't think of anything else. But when he gets into jail to try and kill him was hilarious, and the whole jab at the white supremacist card game was hilarious. Just because he's like, let's go around and talk about what we appreciate about black people. And I thought he was gonna do like an infiltration thing where he's gonna be sarcastic about it. He was straight up honest. Like, no, they contributed to music, like Leonard Skinner, 30 Head Special, all the bands that you guys like. They wouldn't be anything without it.
Yep.
Or else it'd still just be like, people banging each other's sisters. I was like, I love this just because Vigilante, like, you're not great either, but
Yeah.
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
you're a psychopath, but you're really getting, giving these racists like what they deserve, just calling them out on all their shit. It's like, man, I was a little worried for him going in, but when we get to see him beat their asses like without any problem, even with the half, cut off toe, which he was complaining about on the car ride earlier, he was still,
Pathetically,
yeah, he was still kicking ass. And yeah, I really like the idea of his character, him really wanting to be friends with Peacemaker and willing to do whatever it takes to win that friendship. It's so interesting, because he is a psychopathic killer. It's like, but this is like the thing that grounds him, I guess, is him wanting to be friends with Peacemaker, and that's very interesting for this character.
Yeah, no, again, that's what I loved about this episode, is that they're showing they're all yearning for something. Vigilante, he wants to be accepted by Peacemaker, like, be acknowledged, like, dude, we're friends together, and I do shit for you, man. And Peacemaker wants to be accepted by his dad and the team. He just, he has it in for hardcore, but it's like, I kind of hope that doesn't become a thing, because I feel like it's a little too cliche.
Yeah.
But like, if they hook up, fine. But I hope it doesn't become like an emotional thing, because it's like, nah, you're still a bit of a scumbag, Peacemaker, at this point in time. And she is a Black Ops agent, so keep it separate. But
yeah, it's like she needs to like learn how to open up a little bit more. Adebayo has to come to terms with what it means to be in this group. Like the really bad decisions that she's going to be put into. And Steve Agee, I guess, like him as economist, I guess he's just kind of have to learn to be a little less incompetent when it comes to field work, because when he let Judo Master slip away and he goes around and kicks everybody's ass, I was like, oh my god, you could have avoided this.
it's like, John, how are you still alive, man? How'd you get to where you are right now? But, and then the last few minutes of the scene, the show was so great. Just that song, House of Pain, I believe. I forgot what it's called, but that was such a great song where Peacemaker's just getting crossfaded with whiskey.
Yeah, he's in his
weed.
feelings.
Yeah, and hardcore, she's just kind of like really trying to realize, like, man, I do need to be a bit of a more accepting person, just because, again, she doesn't want anything to do with Peacemaker, but his little line, as misogynistic as it sounds to a lot of people, is like, your tits look stellar in that shirt. I'm not trying to be sexist, I'm just saying that you look great. Like, that's his way of complimenting her, saying you look beautiful.
Mm-hmm. His own like emotionally stunted way of like doing it. Like, we know he comes from a nice place, but it just doesn't come out right all the time.
It's like, I was just like, Peacemaker, no, that's not much better, but at least I get what you mean. And that was her moment of like, man, maybe he's not as bad. Like, again, I hope it doesn't go to that cliche route, but I'm also like, maybe she can come around to being a little bit nicer to him. And
then
like
when we
that.
see her going to pick up Vigilante, from the prison, there's that like little like tender moment between them where she's kind of like, again, like seeing that she needs to like open up and kind of, a little, like be a little bit more there, supportive for a lot of the other team members when they need her.
Yeah, that's why I liked where she's starting to get teary-eyed, because Vigilante's like, I messed up. I think I just made things worse, and he feels horrible for it. And she's kind of like, yeah, like I mean, she doesn't know what to say, but she's just kind of feeling that too. Like his emotions are rubbing off of her. And when he's just kind of dancing around, but then we see that we have those flashbacks of his dad making him kill this random dude, which I thought was his brother, but then we see him kill. It goes back to the Rick Flag thing again. He can never get over that.
Yeah.
And to top it off, it ends with his brother and him, I guess, in a fight or something, but his brother starts having a seizure or something, and I guess he probably dies there.
Yeah.
Especially after his dad told him in prison, too, like, you're just a pound of flesh. I should have just, like, slit your throat. Your brother was, I loved your brother. It's like, wow, okay. It's very much like Walk the Line. I thought about that because he was John's dad in that movie too, where he's like, the devil did this. He took the wrong son. Yeah,
you're right. It's kind of like that.
God, he's such a great actor to be across so many mediums, but it got me emotional too, where I was like, damn, this just makes me think, like, we're all such sad people in some form or another.
And then, I mean, and that goes to show just how great, like James Gunn is with, I mean, we keep praising him, but I mean, the guy just keeps putting out stellar work where, in this one show, we get to run the gamut of like emotions from, really raunchy, action and humor to really like funny, inappropriate moments to now these like really like heartfelt, like kind of sad moments where you get to like sit in these emotions with the characters. It's like, and it doesn't feel like it's whiplash at all. Like it all fits and it works so perfectly and it's acted so well. This episode, like you said, it really had that emotional punch, and I think it really hit it on the head.
Yeah, like you said, everything blends together so well. It's so seamless. You don't think about it until almost after the fact. It's like, oh man, this just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, like I said, the action's phenomenal, the stunt work, the violence, everything just lands for this show. I'm so looking forward. This is what I wish I could feel for Book of Boba Fett right now, and I just don't. Like, I'm looking forward to this more so now that I remember it comes on Thursdays. I'm like, Thursday's the day. That's when I know to watch this.
Yeah, Peacemaker Thursdays. Oh yeah, but let's not forget. I mean that crazy reveal at the end of episode 4 where it looks like Mern is a butterfly.
And that could go one of two ways. One, I think he's a rogue butterfly trying to stop an invasion, almost like Martian Manhunter and I forgot what his niece is called, Miss Martian. I don't remember. But how that happens, or like you told me earlier, Blue Beetle and the other beetles and stuff. It's like, that's probably a better comparison. So it could be hinting at, again, I love that DC is expanding more of the universe now. Like how you mentioned earlier, we're getting Batgirl. And in that, we're getting Black Canary being trained by Batman. Like, there's just so much more stuff that's like, not necessarily comic book style, but I can dig it and I like it. Keep bringing it up. But that was a crazy reveal. I was like, what the fuck? Mern, you son of a bitch! So we'll have to see what happens next week, but I can't wait, dude. I really can't. I'm so excited by this. Again, 5 out of 5 for this half of this show so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I said my rating, but I'm right there with you. 5 out of 5 for me. This just really speaks to all the things I really like, and I think James Gunn is just one of those, creators that it just clicks with me, on almost every level. So I'm really happy with the show. Again, one that I wasn't really looking forward to when it was first announced, but I think it's like must-watch TV right now. And yeah,
absolutely.
I'm very much looking forward to every Thursdays now to see the new episode because man, this is so good, and I hope DC can keep this going. With the movies and then the spin-off shows that we get on HBO Max. I think that if they continue down this route, they can be successful where, they weren't in the past.
And then you brought up the Batman, which I'm so excited for. When you sent me that Hot Toys Instagram clip, I was like, oh, man. But it is a little early, but then we find out that this movie's going to be 3 hours long. I'm like, Matt Reeves, please don't mess this up because I love your work already. Please be another great one.
I'm ready.
Anything else we want to add, Bern, or do you think we've given the people a good taste of Peacemaker?
I think so. I mean, I can only praise the show so much. Let's reconvene. In 4 weeks' time when we get the whole season out, and we'll definitely talk about our thoughts on the whole thing when that comes around.
Absolutely. I agree, my friend. Everybody, let us know what you think of the show so far. If you've seen it, in the comments. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you confused by it? Just, let us know. Let's keep this conversation rolling. And as always, stay bodacious. Keep on ranting. Stay safe as well. And just don't forget to ring the bell at the end of this.
Yeah, exactly. You better ring that damn bell. But
ring the goddamn bell, you bitch.
But yeah, I mean, like Bryce said, let us know what you guys think. If you've been watching it, if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. They're all 4 episodes on HBO Max right now, and we'll be here to talk about it when the season's over. So hopefully you guys are able to catch up with us then.
Absolutely. Until next time, peace out, everybody.
Adios, people.